Hi everyone, today I want to share with you my analysis on Ethereum. But first, I am not a financial advisor and this is not financial advice. I just want to share with you what I know about Ethereum, the good and the bad, the positive and the negative. And I just want to have an honest discussion about the short-term and long-term future of Ethereum. As always, I want to provide you with all the facts and the unbiased opinion of mine. If you have information that can help me understand Ethereum better, leave them in the comment section below. And thank you for that. With all that being said, let's get into it. The points that I am about to share with you are unique to Ethereum. I understand that they are positive and negative that apply to all cryptocurrency as a whole, but I just want to focus on Ethereum today. So first, let me start with the positive. So one, Ethereum does have a very active community and founder. The community constantly put out updates and news relating to Ethereum. The team is constantly meeting with other leaders in the industry and also leaders of countries and government officials to talk about Ethereum and what it can do to help. Case in point, Vitalik Buterin met with Vladimir Putin to discuss Ethereum and Russian economy. And recently the team met with Mexico. And there are multiple announcements about the upcoming Metropolis updates. However, as many of us know, China has basically overshadowed the market the last couple of days. So any news about Ethereum seems not to have the effect that it was looking for. All the good news about Ethereum seems to be buried by all the fuzz from China, also known as fears, uncertainty, and doubt. Second, there are a lot of ICO activities and Ethereum tokens on the market at the moment. According to CoinDesk, by June 2017, a few months ago, ICOs has surpassed early-stage VC funding. The volume of transactions and the number of ICOs continue to grow. Some of the popular tokens created using the Ethereum blockchain include Golem, Augur, and many more. 3. Ethereum does have an amazing network effects, and let me explain. Many people quick to point out that Ethereum is a smart contract platform, which is true. However, that is not the only reason why it is a popular platform. The fact is, Ethereum is the first smart contract platform, and being first to the market does really help. It helps attract a large community to Ethereum network, and the community continue to be loyal to Ethereum. And of course, the more people on the network, the more valuable the network will be. 4. Let's talk about the current Ethereum price. I know this is highly debatable, but let's discuss this real quick. How much Ethereum should be, no one knows. However, I do feel that the current price of Ethereum does not take into effect of all the current positive news coming out from Ethereum recently. And as I mentioned before, some of the news include updates on Metropolis, the successful testing of Casper, the potential success of Ethereum and Mexico partnerships. And let's not forget, Ethereum price is far from its all-time high of $400. It is currently sitting at around $300. So I would consider this a positive for those who want to get into Ethereum. Next, let's talk about the possibility of mainstream adoptions. Although Ethereum is far from mainstream adoption, it does make good progress so far. As many of you may have heard, the Ethereum Analysis was established a few months ago, and the Ethereum Analysis consists of many big company names such as MUFG, Chase, and many other big, large institutions, and they are committed to use Ethereum to better their operation. So I do feel that Ethereum is much closer to mainstream adoption than other similar competing smart contract coins on the market. And of course, that leads to my next point, which is there are more use cases every day for smart contracts. And it can be used in multiple industries, non-profit and profits. And 7. The goal of Ethereum is to become the world's first decentralized computer, and I feel like they are making good progress on that front as well. Once the Metropolis update is fully executed, will be one step closer to that goal. Serenity is the last upgrade on the current Ethereum roadmap, and the team will be able to realize this goal at that time, in my opinion. So now, let's talk about some of the negatives. 1. Although I do feel that all cryptocurrencies with no exception, react negatively to bad news. I do feel that Ethereum is a special case. And the reason why I say that is because every little bad news seems to drive Ethereum price down a lot. Whether or not the news is directly related to Ethereum. For example, China banned ICO recently, and that affected Ethereum a lot. But let's not remember, China is not the only market for Ethereum. And also, ICO is not the only thing that Ethereum does. So I'm not sure why the price didn't affect so much from China. And let's not forget, not only that Ethereum react negatively to any bad news, it also react negatively to fake news as well. One of the most noticeable events happened recently is when someone posts about the fact that Vladimir Putin is dead, which is of course not true. However, it does drive the price down significantly at that moment. So it is very prone to fake news. 3. Although I mentioned that Ethereum made good progress for mainstream adoption, it is definitely not ready for mainstream adoption at the moment. The technology has come a long way since its inception. However, it has not proven itself. It's still kind of in the testing mode. Not only that, there are a really small number of subset developers that can code using Solidity, which is the language of Ethereum. 4. Ethereum plans to move from proof of work to proof of stake, and they are planning to introduce this in the Metropolis update. Although proof of work does have limitations, so does proof of stake. One of the concerns about proof of stake is that it may make the Ethereum network become less decentralized. Because in proof of stake, the power to verify transaction, if you will, is based on how much Ethereum you have and how much of that is locked up, and your reward will be distributed proportion to that amount of Ethereums. So the well of Ethereum will have the most power. It will certainly make verifying transaction a concentrated game in just a few hands. 5. It is true that the regulations for cryptocurrencies are not clear at the moment, and this is the case for multiple countries. But the main concern that the government has, the immediate one, is definitely the legality of ICOs, which is initial coin offering. For example, in the USA, the SEC, the Security and Exchange Commission, is currently trying to determine if ICOs will be considered as securities offering or not. And of course, if they are securities, then they are subject to security laws. And other countries, such as China, just outright banning all ICOs altogether. In those cases, it definitely affects Ethereum. 6. Ethereum is a powerful smart contract platform, but it is definitely not the only one. There are increased competition in the market about smart contract platforms. Some of the most noticeable contenders are EOS, Quantum, and of course NEO. 7. There are definitely some fears about the potential of ICO dumping Ether on the market. This is because a lot of ICO fundings are based on Ethereum. This is true for EOS and BAT, the Basic Attention Token. Those companies then need to be able to use the ICO funds to pay for their overhead, their employees, their rent, their developers, etc. And for the most part, currently they cannot pay for all of that using Ethereum. So in theory, they will need to get rid of a lot of Ethereum on the market in order to convert Ethereum into fiat currency to pay for what they need. And that, of course, potentially lead to a negative price decrease. So in conclusion, I do feel that in the case of Ethereum, the positive outweighs the negatives. I do feel that Ethereum does has a very good potential to become something great, and the ability for Ethereum to overcome some of the negatives that I mentioned before is also great as well. Some of the negatives I mentioned before will become less of a concern when we have more and more people on Ethereum network. For example, the more people using Ethereum and holding Ethereum, and the more market cap Ethereum has, it will become harder and harder for someone to manipulate Ethereum's price using bad news or fake news. I do feel that Ethereum will continue to rise, but I cannot tell you what is the right price for Ethereum. In my opinion, there are two main factors that determine the price of Ethereum. And one of that is the max supply amount of Ethereum, and that has not been set yet, but we are waiting to hear back from the Ethereum team and of course from Vitalik to see what that max amount will be. And of course, the more Ethereums on the market, the more diluted the price will be. So it is important for us to know the max amount, or potentially how much Ethereum will be introduced to the market each year. And that of course is a potential solution for this, because for example, Ethereum, just like Bitcoin and everything else, people may lose them, they can lose their private keys, but Ethereum is needed for smart contracts. So it is important that over a long period of time, Ethereum supply just don't get depleted. So there may be a solution where the team will come up with a capped inflation rate every year. And the second factor is that will influence the price is of course how much money companies and people can save by using smart contract platforms. For example, if Ethereum can save an industry $10 billion, then that industry will value Ethereum, and they are willing to pay for Ethereum to the point where the cost of Ethereum does not outweigh the benefit they are getting from using smart contracts. So that is definitely another way to value Ethereum in the future. That's all I have for you. If I missed anything, just let me know in the comment section below. Thank you so much for watching, guys. If you liked the content, please be sure to hit the like button and subscribe to the channel for more. If you want to support the channels, below are how to do that, and the details are in the description below. Thank you.